Hello, everybody.
Oh.
Did you get that? Did you get what I was doing?
Oh, okay. I was like, oh no, did he freeze?
No, I was doing something else. Welcome in, everybody. Tuesday. We're in March already, right?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Crazy.
Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. Drew is here. I am here. It is firmly WWE this morning. Not much to talk about. Some minor stuff went down in the last 72 hours or so. Just very minor things that I'm sure we'll gloss over and talk about. But yeah.
Nice weather. Sandy saying
that's nice. It's cold and not snowy, but it last week we had like a couple days where it was in the 50s, and I was like, oh, we turning? Are we starting to make the turn into spring? And then over the weekend it was 20. And I was like, all right, well, we're still whatever, man. But yes, no, it is firmly Love Wrestling here. It is firmly WWE, and there is a lot to talk about. I mean, Scott, a lot of people were right. I was right too. I mean, you're not breaking ground by saying you were like the first one. You weren't, you know? A lot of people were right. Yeah, we literally said it last week. A lot of people were right. So yes, you were one of those people, but it's not, we weren't, writing new things on the pyramids here. Like it's not that big of a, it is a big deal. We're going to talk about it, but like when you pick something that thousands of people pick, you can't really brag about it. But anyway, I digress. Listen, there is a whole lot to talk about. We had the Elimination Chamber, which had a lot of news and a lot of big things that happened on Saturday. There was another big, massive thing that happened last night on Monday Night Raw that you can see on the thumbnail. So it is one of those things where we are on the road to WrestleMania, and the road to WrestleMania has been shaken up. So haven't I? Has been shaken up probably the most that I can remember. This is
almost as much as last year.
Well, yeah, but last year The Rock came back, right? And it was kind of just like, oh my God, what's going on? This time I feel like in the last 72 hours, we've gotten gigantic things. You know what I mean? Like gigantic things. So I don't know where you want to start. I know the thumbnail is what happened at the end of Raw last night, but I feel like we need to discuss Chamber first, which led into a lot of what we saw on Raw last night. And obviously the thing that happened at Elimination Chamber that everybody is talking about is the return of Randy Orton.
Yeah. What a great moment that was.
Poor Randy. Randy just gets overshadowed all the time. Comes back at Survivor Series, big cool moment. Helps Team Cody win. CM Punk shows up. Nobody's talking about Randy Orton coming back. He's like the third or fourth most important thing that happened on that show. Yeah. Because the show started, obviously everybody's talking about what happened at the end. but the show started with Jade Cargill coming back and kicking ass.
And honestly, the best women's chamber so far.
Yeah, terrific.
It was incredible.
Terrific. We got Big Ben Ortman in the chat saying, what if Cena's heel turn was truly just the friends we made along the way? Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I know it's not the thumbnail, but obviously we are going to spend some time on that. But so Jade, so the show starts and it's Naomi and Liv. It's Naomi and Liv as the two, and the bell rings and Jade Cargill's music hits. She comes out, and Liv, I thought everybody played their part to perfection, Drew. First of all, I didn't know it was possible for Jade Cargill to get more jacked and look better than she ever had. She looked incredible. She always does. But she looked like, it was like, the second you saw her, it was like, oh, man, all right. She comes out. Liv Morgan is scared shitless. Just scared.
This was so beautifully done.
Like, she's like, oh, no. Like, she's freaking out. She's like, I didn't know. And Naomi is looking confused. She's looking at Bianca, who's in the pod, kind of diagonally behind her. Oh, we're going to get into that too, buddy. Sandy, we're going to get into that too. But, so that's happening. Jade gets in. Liv is saying, no. And Jade says something to Liv, which I had to go back and watch it. She says, I knew it wasn't you. And she just goes right after Naomi. And she beats the brakes off of Naomi. And at this whole time, Bianca is inside her pod, crying, screaming, smashing the pod, like wants to get out. She's witnessing her two friends, we think, or is this all part of the plan, baby? Is this all part of the plan? We'll talk about it. But she's witnessing this. She's crying. First of all, still wearing her furry. Take your shit off. You're in the match. What are you still wearing your furry thing for? Because you knew this was happening, Bianca. That's why you're wearing that furry. You knew. This is all part of the plan. But so that's how the show starts. And then, like you said, I think they have bell to bell, probably the best women's chamber there has been to this point. It was a fantastic women's chamber match. But Naomi is removed right away. Jade beats the crap out of her, slams the door on her. Oh my God. And she's removed. That's it. Naomi's done. Yeah, she murdered on national television. Just gone. And Jade
was such a brutal beating.
Like, Jade doesn't look at Bianca at like all. There was no, you know what I mean? There was no like camera shot of Jade turning around and making eye contact with Bianca or like a look, nothing. It was just she took care of Naomi, and I agree, Scott. And Naomi is removed, and Bianca was just there, stuck in her pod for the aftermath. And having to emotionally deal with that before she had to enter.
Right. Which made her performance even that much greater. That after witnessing that.
That's what she wants you to
think. I don't know.
Because you know what else it did? It made her performance easier because she had one less person in the chamber to deal with.
Yeah.
And she didn't have to do the dirty work of getting Naomi out of there herself.
You can look at it that way.
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out conversation. Go ahead. Say what you were thinking. What you were gonna say.
I've gone back and forth in my mind on whether Bianca really knew about this or not, because her reaction was so raw that
it was very well
done. I almost was like, oh. This doesn't look like, this looks like she has no clue what's going on at all. And now it makes me even more intrigued. Well, I mean, but there's also like another part of it where of last night where I went, oh, okay, this is a little strange, because Bianca was on Raw last night, and she's like not that concerned about
Don't
Naomi right
care.
now.
Don't care. I don't want to talk about it. Excuse me? You don't want to talk about you witnessing your best friend get assaulted?
It made me wonder. Because
flipping her hair, dancing.
There were right, yeah. I'm like,
hey, my friend almost died 2 nights ago, but I don't care. I'm going to WrestleMania, baby.
So I was thinking at the chamber, I'm thinking, wow, so this was Naomi, and now it's going to be revealed that Naomi, because Bianca doesn't realize that it wasn't Liv, it was Naomi. But I had originally thought that maybe it was Bianca. So why, if obviously the story wouldn't now make sense if it turns out that it was Bianca, because why wouldn't Jade attack Bianca?
No, it will make sense if it's Bianca. Because Bianca made it like Naomi was collateral, like Sunday Sinner said. And yeah, and Sandy, get it. The theme tells the story as well. If you look at the lyrics of her theme, it tells like she doesn't need anybody.
So okay, so wait, so now you're saying that Naomi wasn't even the one that
here's
did
my
it.
thing.
It was Bianca.
I'm not there yet. I think Bianca is the mastermind behind it all. I think Bianca is the mastermind. And obviously we have time, but I have this whole thing played out through Mania with Bianca. I think Bianca is the mastermind. Right now, I'm still debating whether I think Naomi helped and Naomi was part of it. And she's like the collateral damage, like that Bianca needed to, okay, yep, that works for me. Now I can focus on getting the title at WrestleMania. And you're out of my way. That's out of my way. She thinks you did it. I'm good to go. And then I think after Mania is when we get back into this here. Or if Bianca just did the whole thing and Naomi didn't know. I think it's probably
Jade, I'm assuming. Now, of course, we don't really know the full story here. So this is just assumptions, but my assumption is that that Jade attacked Naomi because Naomi did it.
That's the assumption that I think they want you to think, and that is a very normal and a proper assumption to have. So however, if you remember though, at some point in this story, Naomi and Bianca were talking about a text message they got from Jade, where Jade, or maybe Jade put it on Twitter herself. They were having a backstage segment, and Naomi and Bianca said, "Hey, do you have any updates on Jade?" And I think either Aldis or Pierce, whatever show they were on, said no. And they were like, damn. And it was very quick. But I think on like that same night or whatever, Jade on Twitter said, y'all still don't know? Like she was like, there are no answers. Nobody knows what happened to me. Like she said it like she didn't even know what was going on. So I think, look, if you look at the footage that they showed that like when they started to implement, it could be Liv and Raquel, you see Naomi. What's going on, Spencer? Spencer says, yeah, it could have been as simple as Bianca telling Jade that Naomi did it. That is true. It could be a very simple thing as well. My thing was,
we're going to talk about that, Fernando.
Oh, we're talking about everything, and I disagree because I think we're going to be okay there. But so for me, I think Bianca's the mastermind. Right now, if I had to lean, I'm going to say that Naomi helped her. And she kind of made it that Naomi got shoved away.
Yeah. Like what Spencer said, I get that, but then wouldn't, unless like, you could play up that Jade was so blind with rage, but like, why wouldn't Jade be like, why are you acting that way, Bianca? You're the one that told me that she did it.
I think but I don't. In that moment, you're not going to stop to do that. You're going to want to ruin the person that tried to kill you. So I don't think that's on Bianca. I don't think that's on Jade's itinerary in that moment. She's probably like, "Nah, I'm going to take care of this one, and then I can talk to Bianca on Friday. I can talk to Bianca later.
But
I'm
to
just going to
not
make
even,
sure."
like, look at her?
Well, I think that is part of it, right? I think that's part of it, which is, yeah. I mean, that's what we're going to have to find out on the way to Mania, because there was no, and that was very purposefully done. Like there was no stare back, there was no nothing. It was just I'm taking out
She
Naomi,
literally just made a beeline to the
beeline
ring,
for Naomi. Yeah,
attacked Naomi,
yeah,
threw her all over the place, threw her into her pod,
yeah,
closed the door on her neck,
yeah,
and then walked off and never
yeah.
looked at Bianca once.
No. Now that obviously, which is why you and a lot of other people are like, "Oh, Naomi definitely did it." Could have, yeah. But that tells me more that Jade thinks Naomi did it. We don't 100% know if Jade knows that Naomi did it. So that's two different things. You know
But
what I
how
mean?
does she know that? Oh, I think
But we don't
that
know. We
Naomi
don't.
did it.
I mean, if you look at that footage, they show Liv and Raquel kind of walking on the side over here. Naomi's already at the ambulance with Jade. She's already there. And that was the thing that stuck out to me. Like, dude, Naomi's already there. So that means that Naomi was around what happened, because how is she over
I
there, but
never
these two are over here?
I never took it as that because
And
the footage from my point of view made it look like the criminals leaving the scene of the crime.
but they're walking into the building. Like it happened right on the outside where the trucks go, where the trucks back into the
Yeah, but
buildings
they
to
looked
deliver
like
shit.
they weren't like walking by everybody. They were off on the corner, like sneakily walking
I
around
agree.
a truck. Like it wasn't.
I
It
agree.
looked like, oh, like we did this. And now, of course, I didn't believe that they actually did, but the way that
Yeah.
they shot the footage would make one assume that they're
But
trying
that's
to
the whole
sneak
point, Drew.
around.
It's a fake TV show.
Well, no,
That's
I
the whole
know, but I'm
point.
saying that Naomi being there already never was something that made me go, "Oh, she did it because she was there." Like, she could have been of course, again, they purposefully show it the way that they show it,
Yeah.
but I didn't take what they showed as, "Oh, it was Naomi because
But
she's there
I
already."
just think there is a lot of evidence that points to Naomi being the person, whether she did it or not, and we'll find out. But there's a lot of evidence. When Jade gets taken out, who's the person that steps up and becomes a tag champion basically by default? Naomi. Naomi got everything. Look at how much success Naomi has had since she's kind of been stepped
Well, yeah,
into the
because that
role that Jade Cargill was filling.
right.
Now, that's again leads you to believe that Naomi has plenty of reason to do what she did. However, when you look at it from Bianca's side of things, hey, this woman is starting to show me up. I'm the star of this team. I'm Bianca Belair. Who the hell is this person to think that she's on my level? So I'm going to have her taken out so Naomi can get in here, who knows her place, knows that she's below me. And then I'm going to go, become what I'm becoming again, which is world champion. And I'm doing it in separating. Like I view it as that's the type of scenario that we're getting here over Naomi. I don't think Naomi did it alone. If she did it, I just think
So, I
Bianca
can
is the one.
see I would need a good explanation of this, but I could see Bianca doing it and then maybe showing a different version of the footage to make it look like Raquel and Liv weren't there. Showing that version to Jade and making it look like Naomi was the one that did it, and then there's a segment where Jade and Naomi or Bianca and Jade are in the ring, and then Naomi comes out and is like, "Why did you do this? Why did you do this to me? I didn't do anything." And then, you can kind of see the look on Bianca's face because she didn't expect Naomi to be there in that moment.
Mhm.
And Jade, with her back turned, is going to be like, Well, because Bianca told me that you did it, and that's where the reveal is that, "Oh, shit, Jade was told the wrong information. Bianca actually was the one that did it." But then I need an explanation of why she would attack her tag partner when they're champions.
Because she
That
doesn't
part
because Jade was starting to overshadow her. Stories as simple as
I
time.
mean, it's yeah, but, as a
That's how every tag team,
I
not
could
every,
see
but a lot of tag teams break up because the other one
not when
gets
they're
jealous of.
champion.
No, that's a different wrinkle to it. But Bianca still won that match. And again, it didn't happen when they were champions either. Like they were like it wasn't in a champion. You know what I mean? Like Bianca was dealing with other stuff when that was going down. It was on a solo match for her. She did it, and and Bianca knew. She probably felt confident that she could become champions with
I can
Naomi.
see, like, so if, say, the Naomi part never happened and Jade and Bianca were tag champions up until last Friday and then lost the titles, or last Monday, sorry, and then lost the titles, and then they do a beatdown segment or something. But to do it when they're still champions is what kind of, like, doesn't make sense to me, because you're a champion. You should wanna be a champion. Now,
Yeah, but it
you
wasn't.
can
It
tell the
wasn't.
story that Naomi was waiting in the wings to take over, like, what they did, but
Yeah,
it
that's
was
why I
under the
think
direction
both of them
of Jay
work
of
together. That's why I feel like in this moment, I feel like they work together
okay. I mean, there's just a lot of gray
because
area and
Bianca and Jade have been friends for longer than. I'm sorry, Bianca and Naomi have been friends for longer than Bianca and Jade. So I think that Bianca had the plan and she said, "All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take her out, and then you can just slide in, and you and I can be champions, and we'll get both what we want." And I think it could be as easy as that. And then Naomi did the dirty work for Bianca, and then they were like, "Okay, well, we're going to make it look like it was Liv and Raquel. We have the footage. We're gonna act like it was Liv and Raquel." And then Jade, we still obviously need to find out how she found out or how she got to the mindset of she thinks it's Naomi. Maybe it's because she knows because it was Naomi, but it was under Bianca's direction.
right.
I think
That I can
that's
see.
how they're going to go. But I think now because of what happened to Naomi's going to have a problem with Bianca. It's not like Naomi's going to show up and just be like, "Oh, all right, yeah, cool. Look at it happened. Well, all right."
Right.
Like
Because
I don't. Yeah,
she's not showing any concern for her, really.
exactly. Because now you see, in the moment, Bianca was showing great concern, but once that match ended,
She's
she,
like, "Oh, okay."
she was like, "Oh, I'm going to WrestleMania. Cool, cool." And she's dancing, and I get it. She won a big match. You celebrate and stuff like that. But then you go to last night on Raw. They talk to her in the back. She's got her sunglasses on. She's on the phone. First of all, she's on the phone, which is a heel thing as much as there ever is
Yeah.
people talking on the phone in wrestling. She's on the phone. She's like, "Oh, we don't know who she's talking to." You would assume she's talking to Montez. You don't know. What if she's talking to Jade? What if she could be talking to fucking anybody? We don't know. But she's on the phone. "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll talk to you soon. I gotta go." Doing that type of stuff, which she never does. Never does. And then they ask her, "Hey, congratulations on your big win, but obviously everything that went down with Jade and Naomi, like, what are you thinking about? Like, you have to be, blah, blah." "Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that." Excuse me? You have to talk about that.
Yeah.
You're the only
That
person that has to talk about that.
yeah, that was what made me go, "Oh, okay, something else is going on here," because that's not the reaction that you have for somebody who you supposedly care
Correct.
about.
Correct.
Mm.
And then again, and Dan mentioned it. But like she comes down because she's watching because she is going to WrestleMania. So the winner of the main event of Raw last night is gonna face Bianca, at WrestleMania. So she goes down there and she's sitting ringside and she does not care. Like, you would think that there would be concern, or she would be like visibly showing that she's not in a good mental space, because she literally watched what we assume is one of her best friends try to kill her other best friend 2 nights ago.
Yeah, and put on the performance of a lifetime, like she cared about her in that moment.
Correct. But now 72, and I get it. Naomi's alive, we assume. She's alive, so that's good. But Bianca didn't give a shit last night. I don't want to talk about it. What does that mean? No, Bianca. You would talk about it. So again, that's what it is. That's what it is to me. I feel like by the time, and again, we have plenty of time to talk about, because I think by the time we get to WrestleMania, I don't think it's Io versus Bianca one-on-one. I think Rhea will be in there, and I think it'll be a triple threat. I think that's the way that match played out last night. And we can talk about it now if you want, and then we can kind of talk about the rest of the champ. So, fantastic main event. Fantastic main event again, with Rhea and Io. They always kill it, but 2 weeks in a row, the women have absolutely just killed the main event. Just a great main event, great match. And this is all Rhea's fault. She did it to herself, Drew. Rhea had that match won. Rhea had that match won, and she locked eyes with Bianca. She locked eyes with Bianca because Bianca in that moment was like cheering Io on, like, don't end this on a count out. Like, get in there. Get in there. Like, let's find out what's happening here. Like, don't end this on a count out. Rhea took exception, and Rhea got in Bianca's face. Bianca shoved Rhea twice, which should be a disqualification. But the referee came out there, and I did like the way that the ref was vocal about it. And she was like, this is a title match. I'm not ending it that way. So, like, cut the shit. Cut the shit. Don't make me end this way. I kind of did like that. Like, don't end it that way kind of thing. But then Rhea is still paying attention to Bianca. She's going for a super riptide. And instead of just doing the friggin' thing, she takes it more time. I'll see you at WrestleMania. I'll see you at WrestleMania. And it got turned into Hurricane Rana. She hit the moonsault, and I'm sitting there going, no way. No way they're doing it. And Io Sky beats her, which nobody saw coming. Nobody.
No.
At all. And again, this is nothing as a slight of Io Sky. She is tremendous. I love Io Sky. I thought it was going to be Rhea in Io. So I am very happy that Io is going to WrestleMania and she is part of the title picture on Raw, because she should be. She's incredible. And I see people complaining. And I disagree with all of you. And I know Drew's about to be one of them. And this, to me, tells me that Rhea and Bianca, the build to WrestleMania, should be longer than 6 weeks. It should be longer than 6 weeks. That is the biggest one-on-one match that WWE has in their chamber. 100% male, female, whatever. That's the biggest one-on-one match that we have not seen proper that they have in their company, in my opinion.
Yeah, that they keep not doing.
Correct. And they keep not doing it on purpose because it deserves a longer build than a quick little, oh God, we got to go chamber to Mania. Would the match have ruled?
It's already been a long build.
But they have very rarely crossed paths. It hasn't been a long build. They have very rarely crossed paths.
They were in the main event. They were in the last two in the Rumble 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
They were both on the cover of the 2K24 game last year.
Okay. How is that building a wrestling feud? It's building a history, so then when we actually get the wrestling feud, we can stretch it out over a long time.
But why does it have to be a long time?
Because it should be. It's the biggest match they have in the company they can do. We shouldn't get a 5-week sprint build to it. We should not. We should not.
I was shocked at the result last night, but it was not like, you know, I'm just like, okay, so I guess we're gonna do a triple threat then, which
yeah,
fine.
and
I would have rather just seen the
it's going to
singles
be
match.
more than fine. It's going to be probably one of the best matches of the weekend.
And no, it will be a great match. But I thought so. I watched the little thing that they put out with her with Rhea backstage after the show.
I didn't see that yet. But you can hear Rhea at the end of Raw yelling, "She's a bitch. She's such a bitch." When the Raw was going off the air and Io's on the corner holding up the title, you hear Rhea screaming, "What a bitch! She's such a bitch!" And I'm like, okay, well,
they're telling the story with Rhea that I'm summarizing. I don't remember exactly what she said, but they're telling the story that she's feeling isolated right now because of the last year and a half where she got out of the Judgment Day and then Damian Priest got put on SmackDown, and she feels like a friend in Bianca is not a friend right now because she was cheering on Io instead of making or not making, but having it be that she just wants to have this one-on-one match with her at WrestleMania. She's cheering on Io, and that's what got her upset. So they're like telling that story of Bianca, Rhea feeling isolation right now, like she doesn't have a lot of friends on her side, which I I don't hate that story, but I feel like they could have told that story as a singles match going to WrestleMania. Like, say Rhea wins last night, and after the match, Bianca goes in to congratulate her, and then Rhea shoves her, and it's like, why the hell were you cheering for her to win?
It's not the story, though. The story is going to be Bianca leaving WrestleMania as a heel champion. That's the story.
I know that that's not the story. I'm saying that that's how they start building that story.
But again, then
6 weeks to do it.
It's not a lot. It's that match. Listen, you don't. Again,
you have Bianca, who already has friendship issues right now, and then Rhea feeling the way that she feels. 5 weeks. I'm thinking like 5 weeks of Rhea second guessing her friendship.
It's not enough time.
It's
not enough time for that match. It's not enough time, dude.
But neither of them realistically are going to have another match until WrestleMania.
I agree. And I see people in the chat like no, that is not enough time for that one-on-one match. That is 5 weeks is not enough time for a build to a match like that. It is just not. I'm sorry. That's a new school. Again, it is what it is. It's an opinion. You're not right or wrong. But that, to me, because I see some people are saying they're so over, there doesn't need to be a build. No. You don't have no build when you're building to Hogan and Andre. You don't have a 4-week build when you're building to Stone Cold and The Rock. Like, that's the level of that match. Rhea and beyond. That is what they have. You don't build it in a month. Yes, it does, Fernando. You are wrong. Yes, it does. It is literally the biggest match they have in the company. You do not rush it. You do not give it a story. That is crazy.
Okay, I guess your opinion is correct and nobody else's matters.
No, I just think it's crazy. Do you want to give it away that quickly like that? No.
Giving it away at all would be nice.
Which they're going to do.
3 years.
But again, I feel like they have not even intertwined with each other on purpose for 3 years besides those moments. You know what I mean? Like, those moments happened, but that's I don't know. I just feel like, and I've said it leading into it, which is why I ended up picking Bianca to win the chamber, but that's part of the reason why I didn't pick Bianca until like the last day. Because I was like, if Bianca wins, they are wasting the build to their biggest match they have. Wasting the build. Because this should be built over time. Over time. Because personally,
so how does it get built over time in your eyes?
Rhea's going to get inserted in this match, and it'll be a triple threat. I think Bianca wins at Mania, turns heel, either in the process or on the way or shortly after. And then I think we build it over the next year.
How? How do you build this for a year until next WrestleMania?
Rhea as the baby face, going after chasing the heel Bianca for a year.
So that's going to be the only program that she has the entire time?
No, of course not. You put them on separate shows, dude. You put them on separate shows. They're doing a draft again. We all know it's not.
Okay, so when they're on separate shows and they're not building to a story, and then all of a sudden she just wins the Royal Rumble next year, where's the story?
Yeah. And again, I'm sorry, it just deserves more of a build to me. And WrestleMania 17, that was The Rock and Austin's first match. Second match. They had already fought at WrestleMania 15. That was the first match. This would be the first match between these two. And I'm sorry, 5 weeks is not enough. It's not enough. Now, if Bianca already would, it's just not enough, in my opinion.
That's
have them
fine.
Cross paths. Have them
it's a fine opinion to have, but I don't agree with it.
So. And that's fine. That's fine. You think I'm wrong, I think you're wrong. That's how we move on. That's how we move on. And in the end, I will be right because the story will build the way that I want. And I'll see, told you so, when we're all here drooling over their match next year at WrestleMania. Okay.
Yeah. Just like eventually you'll be right about Pretty Deadly.
Pretty Deadly, 100%. When they're when they're tag champions this calendar year. And everyone will be like, wow, they're actually
I agree with you, Fernando, but you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Mr. JPJ over there. So,
Yep. Sorry.
He's right about this.
I know. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I feel like this is more of a new school wrestling mentality versus an old school wrestling mentality. Fanned. Why? Because you know, let's go. I want it now. I want it now. Let's go. I need it now. I need it now. Whereas I'm like, nah, man, that's a big match. I want that.
It's not like it's something that just came out of thin air.
No, but the WWE has purposefully kept these girls away from each other. They're like, yes, they have a history. So when we actually get the feud, there is a lot to look back on and go, oh shit, yeah. But they have not.
You're saying the logical step is that Rhea just gets inserted into this match at WrestleMania, and now it becomes a triple threat, and then they're split for 10 months. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't.
That's
think
how you build the story.
I don't think you have to split them, but I think Bianca's going to have to be dealing with other shit. Bianca's going to have to be dealing with other shit.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I would have told the Naomi Jade Bianca story.
Yeah, but you have to take that. But I take that into account of what I'm thinking. Because Bianca, yes, is going to WrestleMania either against EO or in a triple threat with Rhea. But at the same time, Bianca has some major shit going on the side, which could affect this as well, which is part of the reason why I think. Apparently you haven't, because I've been watching wrestling this whole time like all you guys. And it's a match that I very much want, but it's not a match I'm impatient for like you motherfuckers. So apparently, maybe, I don't know, but I'm not impatient about it. They haven't done, like, the first time they went face to face for real was 3 nights ago. Besides crossing paths in a locker room backstage, a random Raw fucking 4 months. Like, they've been kept away from each other.
And that very, very famous Royal Rumble where they were the last 2 and went on for like 5-6 minutes.
Yes, which was done on purpose. Because they know this is a huge match. This is a main event. You want to talk about the women actually main eventing a night of WrestleMania? This is a main event match at WrestleMania. And this year, it would not be. which is another reason why it shouldn't happen. Because this should actually close one of the evenings at WrestleMania. And it will not this year.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on.
It would not have this year. It would not have. And this match deserves that too. I'm not just on a whim just saying, no, let it build. Like, there are reasons.
Well, hopefully when they build it for almost the exact same time next year, it'll be enough time for them to main event WrestleMania.
Yeah, look at Bianca could be this monster heel champion if they even keep the belt on her that long. Who knows? But she could be this person. And then Rhea can easily win the Rumble. Like, there's easy ways to do it. We've seen them do it all the time.
Could have been easy for the next 5 weeks, but
okay. It could have. And then it would have gone on second or third on night 1 of Mania, and it would have been an afterthought. And that's not what this match deserves, in my opinion. Old man opinion, I guess. But who am I? Let's continue. So that kind of tied into Raw and all the women chamber stuff there. I thought the tag match with Trish and it was fine. It was actually better than I thought as a match, but I thought it was fine. It was there for what it was. Get Tiffany a win, get Tiffany over, the legend, blah, 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 blah. So there you go. So that happened. Sammy and KO, man.
Wow. What a match.
Thing of beauty.
An unsanctioned match, rather.
Unsanctioned match. But a thing of beauty. They beat the crap out of each other. The story was there the whole time. It was emotional. It was violent. Very happy, even though it doesn't count because it's unsanctioned. I'm happy KO got the win. Loved Sammy. But I'm happy KO got the not real win. And then obviously we had that moment where Randy Orton came back. And KO's reaction to it, where he was just kind of like, all right. Like, he was almost like crying. Like, it looked like he was like,
he was crying.
Yeah, he was like
and
crying.
I don't know what that was about. I guess we'll figure out what that's about. But I would have rather Sammy won, and because it's an unsanctioned match and anything can happen, as we saw in this match, because holy crap, there was some really gnarly shit in this match. Randy cost KO, because that would be like, in my eyes, I'm like, okay, so Randy comes out, helps Sammy, and then Kevin Owens and him have the feud for the next few weeks to the obvious WrestleMania match between the two of them. I think that would have been the better thing to do, but I was fine with this, because obviously, Randy Orton being back is a pleasure and wonderful. So I'm glad to see him. So yeah, but I would have liked Sammy to get the victory, because it really, at the end of the day, it's not a real match because it doesn't matter. It's not sanctioned, so the win doesn't even really count.
Yeah, I did think KO needed the win more, though. He loses everything.
Well, I think he's going to win the match against Kevin Owens.
You think Randy is?
No, I think Kevin Owens is.
Oh, yeah, he should. KO should go over at Mania.
He should. Randy. Absolutely.
He should. I don't know if he will.
We're fine with him. Now, that's up to the booker.
Yeah, I don't know if he will. Again, yeah, exactly.
But
we'll see. But I
would have been like, okay, it makes sense for Sammy to win this as a result of Randy costing KO to lead to their match where KO gets the upper hand at WrestleMania. But,
yeah, I don't know. Like, I think either, I mean, look, it is a non-sanctioned match, so an unsanctioned match, so it doesn't really count. But yeah, I just felt like KO has been losing way too much. He's been in great stories and great feuds, but he's lost every match.
That would make that WrestleMania victory over Randy Orton mean that much more.
It would, but I also would look at it as KO's lost his last 8 matches. Why is he getting a high-profile match at WrestleMania? That's how, you gotta win a little bit
Well,
to
he's
get on
winning
that.
it because I mean, the classic wrestling thing.
Yeah, of course, of course.
You interfere in the
just
match that leads to a match with that person.
Yeah, I'm just of the belief that if you are gonna have a high-profiled singles match at WrestleMania, you need to be looking strong heading into WrestleMania. And KO, from a storyline perspective, is amazing, but he is not looking
by
strong
winning
when he's like,
one
oh, for
unsanctioned match.
hey, it's better than zero. One is better than zero.
Well,
One
it
is better
almost
than
technically
zero.
is zero.
Whatever. It's better than zero. It's better than zero. But that match was incredible. And then we had the men's chamber, which the men's chamber match itself also very good. Also very good.
Yes.
I
Poor Drew
love
McIntyre. Holy crap.
I thought they did it well, though.
No, I did
it
think
well.
I agree.
Yeah. I thought they did it well with him being
there
the
was
first one. I
one
did not see
thing
that
I
one coming.
would have. Now, obviously, it wouldn't make sense with the current thing with Seth and Roman, but I actually kind of wished that it was Drew that screwed Punk instead of Seth, just for the receipt, finally, of all the times that Punk did it to Drew last year.
Mm.
Because like Drew won the SummerSlam match, but even after the SummerSlam match, Punk was still costing him shit. So
Yeah.
it's like, can he just get that receipt finally? Did we just have that one moment where he cost Punk a major victory, screwing him out of something instead of it be the other way around every single time? But but I don't hate what they did, obviously, because of what they did on Raw. So
I mean, I didn't hate it in the moment either. I thought I thought when I like the moments that we got in the chamber too. I thought they did a very good job of building up the card of WrestleMania on the men's side of things in this chamber match. I thought they did a very good job at that. They built the Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest thing, which I thought they did well. Obviously, we had the moment with Punk and Cena and the hug that they had, and then they started fighting. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I very much liked.
I missed you too.
Exactly. And then I also liked. I liked that it was Seth and them two as the final three. I thought that was good. That it was those final three, and then after that, I thought the way they did it. And again, at this moment, we don't know what's going to happen after this moment, which is the moment that everybody is talking about, right? Like, we don't know at this moment when we're watching this match what's going to happen, right? So
right.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I still think Cena's winning this. It's definitely going to be Cena and Punk as the last two. Like, that's definitely happening. And then the way they did it, where Punk got kind of kicked into the ropes, and Rollins is still in there, but he's already eliminated. We're not thinking about him anymore because he's been eliminated for a minute, and then out of nowhere, it's like boom, and it was like, oh shit. And then you have John just take full advantage of the moment, not look around at the crowd and go, oh nope, just immediately like, come here. And even when he locks in, he says, I'm sorry. Like, he says, I'm sorry to Punk. And then they got that camera view of Seth like crazily looking through the things, like tap out, like lose. And I thought it was very well done.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of Swerve Joe Hangman.
Yeah, it was a very similar thing.
Punk is Hangman. Punk is Swerve, and Seth is playing Hangman right now.
Yeah. Hey, I lost. Well, guess what? You're losing too. It's almost as important for me to watch you not do that, to watch you lose, than it is for me to win. So I lost. Well, you're coming with me. And he's like not smiling really, but he's like, the look
you can also kind of make some parallels to what may happen after WrestleMania this year. Or well, actually, no, sorry, after next week's Raw, when they have their cage match together, where you could actually say that Seth could be going on some sort of Hangman Adam Page like arc.
I don't think that would be bad. I don't think I do think he needs kind of a new layer to his character. And if they didn't want to go like full heel turn with him, because we just had a major heel turn, if they didn't want to do that, and they kind of made him that kind of Hangman-esque character, I think that could work. Like kind of like he is a bad guy, but they present it in a way that the crowd is still like, no, we like him. We like him. We like this guy.
I think it was somebody tweeted this, I think, last night, where it was like the moment where Seth is coming out and everyone's chanting for Punk anyway, and chanting CM Punk's name, and like, you know, like he has this like face on of, it reminded me of like Swerve and Hangman. Like, okay, you know, Swerve just broke into this guy's house and stood over his baby's crib, and the crowd is still chanting for him and not for Hangman. So it has that like similar feeling.
Fernando,
so I'm excited for this.
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't like to compare, but they are very similar. It is not bigger than that. Nothing will ever be bigger than that. That was the biggest one.
There is no now in wrestling if that didn't happen.
Correct. And like that was a different. See, here's the thing. We all know Cena's got a year left. We know this is the last year of John Cena. And as shocking as it was, this is kind of the final act. We know that. That heel turn in 96, that prolonged Hogan's career by a decade. Well, like that guy was on his way. And again,
Hogan still got a career today in 2025.
I'm not, we all know the personal feelings of how we all feel about Hogan at this point. We should. I'm talking specifically the wrestling side of it. That prolonged Hogan's career, and that made like WCW doesn't, the Monday Night War like that. No. It's a different level. It's a different level of thing. With that being said, the John Cena is like 1A. I wouldn't even want to put it 2. Like they are the 2 biggest of all time. But I don't like to compare them because they're different scenarios too. But the Hogan one is just on a different level. It's just on a different level.
So shall we discuss?
Well, so Cena wins. And then we get Cody coming out. They embrace, and Cena's very much doing like, hey, I'm going to give you a hell of a fight. They're pointing at the sign, and you're just like, all right, cool. So, all right, we're getting the match that everybody thought we were going to get. All right. Rock comes out with Travis Scott, this fucking guy. I don't care that he was in the ring. I literally do not give a single shit that he was involved in this.
It didn't bother me at all.
Doesn't bother me one way or the other. The people that it bothered, you're fucking weird. Figure something out. Like, who cares? So
now him injuring Cody,
that's different. Him slapping the shit out of Cody, like real, that's not cool. I have a problem with that. Him being there, I don't care. He did not matter in this segment at all. So they come out.
In fact, he was kind of entertaining with the sage.
Yeah, it was like saging himself and shit. I'm like, what is he doing? So they come out. The Rock immediately is like caressing Cody again, just touching his face. And he's like, do it, man. He's like, I'm here to listen to you tell me. Exactly, Spencer. Everyone that's mad about Travis Scott probably loved when Dennis Rodman was showing up at the NWO. Exactly. Who gives a shit? But anyway,
he was even carrying his own makeshift hardcore.
He has title. That's the one that he had with when he came out with Jey Uso, right? He had that hardcore title when he was walking down. So he comes out. The Rock says, hey, Cody, obviously we're here. I'm here to get your answer. I'm here to hear you tell me that you're going to come with me.
I want it all, Cody.
Yeah, I want it all. I can give it to you. My champion, your soul. Let's go, man. And Cody grabs them, and this was a killer line by The Rock, but because of everything that happened, it's not getting talked about, but he goes, and if you say no, the dream dies. And then he pauses and he goes, again. Oh, filthy line.
That was awesome.
Is a filthy line by The Rock. So he says that, and then Cody says, my soul doesn't, he goes, I want it all, Rock. I want it all. And
The
everyone's like,
crowd is
oh,
like,
everyone's like, oh shit. And then he just goes, but my soul does not belong to me anymore. He goes, because I gave it away for this. And he looks at the belt and he goes, and for them a long time ago. And at this moment, Cena is still in the ring and he's celebrating, but he's like normal, corny John Cena celebrating.
Yeah,
At this moment,
it was a little over the top, a little bit more over the top.
It gets there, but like at this moment, I feel like he's still just being nerdy, corny John Cena. So I'm like, okay. So then Cody does the line, which again, because of everything that happens, nobody's talking about this either. If this is bigger than Randy Orton coming back. This one line that Cody said was a bigger story than Randy Orton coming back. Cody leans in and he goes, hey, Rock, go fuck yourself. And it's unedited.
Uncensored and all.
For all of us to hear. All of our childish ears. Our children. The children out there.
Think of the children. Won't someone
you know what Triple H said? You know what Triple H said from that moment on in that segment? He said, fuck them kids.
Yeah.
That's what he said. I don't give a crap about these. I'm about to ruin these kids' lives. That's what he said, and I'm here for it. Make them tough. But anyway, so he tells Rock to go fuck himself. I'm losing my shit. And I'm just like, oh my God. Moment. And at this point, now John Cena is like, he's going from rope to rope. He's like basically jumping up and down. And I'm just like, that's too much, Cena. Now you're being a little too much. And then I was watching with our pal Josh Robinson off stream. We were watching together and I was just sitting there and I was just like, yo, it's Cena, bro. They're doing it tonight. They're doing it. I thought they might wait.
So did I. That was my whole thing was we're not going to know because we did this last week. We said we're not going to know until WrestleMania who sold their soul.
Yes, that's what I thought. But then I was like, oh shit, they're doing it now. I was like, they're just doing it because then Cena's celebrating. The Rock is pissed. Cody's kind of doesn't know what to do. He's looking at The Rock. He's looking at John Cena. He's looking at he doesn't know what to do. So he kind of turns to Cena and then he kind of looks at the Mania sign and looks at Cena and Cena moves up and gives him the bro hug. Yes. Let's go in. And when he does this
moment,
he looks at The Rock and Cena's emotion and the famous face. But like Cena emotions just drop and he just looks right at The Rock.
And The Rock. And then I don't know if you noticed this. I saw this in fan footage because I was obsessed with this moment. I saw this in fan footage. Cena does the thing and then the hand on the shoulder and the hug. His face drops. As that happens, The Rock goes like this.
Yep.
And that is the moment where people who weren't watching Cena just face drop. When everybody saw this, as soon as Rock did that, that's when the crowd knew it. That was like the
yeah. And then they did it. Then they did the second shot of the zoom in of Cena's face with no emotion.
Yeah.
And then they did The Rock and he did this and he had the two, which we'll talk about because the first time he did it, he had three. So now Cena's there. So we have two. So that's a whole nother layer of things that we got time for that. But so then Cena, he kind of breaks away from Cody and he's still smiling at Cody like, hey, yeah.
He puts that smile back on and
kicks him right in the dick. And
the crowd.
This
is so like there's two ways of storytelling. There's the shock and awe of something happening in the moment that you don't see coming. And then there's the realization of what's about to happen story. And you can do both of those very well. They did this to perfection.
Yeah. Well, they were going to have, look at the shock and awe was going to happen no matter what, because this is John Cena. This is the good guy of all good guys. This is the good guy here. Like, in the history of it all, up until this moment, John Cena might not have been the most popular and didn't make the most, but he is the biggest babyface in the history of the company. Because Stone Cold's character wasn't a babyface. He was a babyface, but his character wasn't. His character was drinking beers, flipping the bird to everybody. Like, he was a babyface, but his character was not. Hulk Hogan's character was a big-time babyface. Not all the time. John Cena has been Mr. Like, he has been the prototypical babyface.
For a good part of his career, a nauseating babyface.
Yes.
People did not even want him around anymore because of how much of a babyface he was.
Correct. So, like, you were going to get that shock and awe reaction no matter what. They did it both. They got that reaction, plus they did it to perfection, like you said, where we saw it coming for like 10 seconds. And it was like, oh my God, they're fucking doing it. Holy shit, this is happening.
And
like, this
you
is
can
happening.
Tell how good. So, like, the way that Cena did it, honestly, is like the way that
acting.
even.
It's like he's been acting or something.
Yeah, well, that. And also, whenever I have envisioned myself playing a wrestler, or like, if I'm like, okay, we've all had our moments where we book ourselves or fantasy book ourselves in things. I have always pictured myself turning heel in the exact same way that Cena did it on Saturday. Of like, yeah, I'm with my buddy, and yeah, we hug and we embrace, or maybe we won a match, or maybe we lost a match or something, and then my face is the only thing that you see, and my face, it was like almost I booked it. It's like Cena just did the way that I would turn heel. It was crazy. I'm looking at it like I literally screamed. I was on a Sinner. Sinner was in here. I was on a watch along with him on the round table with the round table guys, and I literally screamed, "Oh my God!" Like, in a way that I have not screamed at my screen during a wrestling show in a long time. I can't remember the last time I screamed like that.
Yeah, and look, there's not going to be a lot of moments that happen like that, because this is what we saw on set. This is an all-time thing. This isn't that is a core, the Inside Out movies. That is a core wrestling memory forever now. That is on the pantheon of most shocking moments, best heel turns of all time, best moments, like that is that's there now. That's there.
Yeah.
That is a wrestling, and again, it's his last, like, that is a wrestling landscape changing. Like, again, I don't like to compare, but it is a good, like when Hogan turned heel in 96, that changed wrestling. That just changed wrestling. And I think that is going to have way more of an impact than this will, like in the grand scheme of things, like as a whole. But this shit was on ESPN, bro.
Yeah.
They talked about this on SportsCenter. I live not far from Boston. We have a very strong sports radio scene in Boston, some of the best sports radio shows in the country. And they don't talk about pro wrestling on the during the week sports radio shows. They don't. But guess what? On Monday, on every show, the morning show, the midday show, and the afternoon drive show, they at least had a few minutes where they were talking about John Cena. Did you hear? And they don't know the wrestling terms, half of them, because they don't pay attention. But they're like, did you hear what? John Cena, a bad guy. Became a bad guy. What? Does he do a Make-A-Wish guy? Oh, my. And they don't know what they're talking about. But the fact that they're talking, like, that doesn't happen all the time.
Jon Stewart.
Yes, Spencer just said Jon Stewart covered. Yeah. Yeah.
That moment to describe last week's shit show in the Oval Office.
Yeah. As you should.
And
Jon Stewart
And that
also in history turned heel on John Cena.
true, right.
If we don't remember, helped Seth Rollins win a world title. Or maybe a US title. I don't know. I think it was the champion match, something like that. Either way. But yeah, like look at that was a monumental, like all-time, gonna be remembered forever, top 5 to 10 wrestling moments. We're obviously recency bias, so I could comfortably say top 5, but like,
oh, I don't even think that that's
top 3
bias.
Yeah, like but it's insane.
If that is not in,
and we're not even talking about where the story go. We're not even talking about like what's about to happen. We're just talking about this moment.
This
that happened on
moment,
Saturday.
I comfortably can say needs to be in everyone's top 5 moments list. It needs to be. There is no recency bias on this. It needs to be in your top 5.
It's crazy. It was yeah, we're gonna be talking about that forever. Dan saying Jon Stewart gave the worst chair shot in history, and that includes Hogan hitting Conan. If you know the spot with Hogan and Conan that he's talking about, which I do, that's hilarious. Fernando, most likely should have been him last year. But I think they can make up for it. I would not be shocked.
But it turns out he actually lives in Vegas now.
Yeah, he's not far from there. So I would think that'd be something you want to shore up. Again, just an all-time moment. And unfortunately, Cena was not on Raw last night. He is filming a movie. I do expect that we will see him, like he's going to be in Europe in the lead up to Mania with all those Raws and stuff, that 3 weeks. They're in Europe and stuff like that. So we'll be seeing him hopefully regularly on both shows, if not at least once a week, obviously. But yeah, they showed that replay about 8 times last night, as they should, of what went down. I felt like they came back from every commercial showing a version of that John Cena thing, as they should. It's never going to lose its impact, or at least it's not going to lose its impact right away. So lean into that shit.
It's never going to lose its impact.
So we are getting Cody Rhodes, good guy Cody Rhodes. Oh, he will, Fernando. He will. We should have known once we saw the shoes. We should have known once we saw him wearing that terrible shoes and socks combo that he was wearing at the Chamber. We should have known. We should have known.
Paid attention to that.
Are you kidding me, bro? He was wearing the ugliest, like grayish white sneakers I've ever seen. It's the first thing I noticed.
Usually wear?
Not terrible shoe and sock combos like that. He usually just wears like regular. They look terrible.
Never paid attention to what John Cena's shoes.
That's why I knew he was turning heel once I saw the shoes. I was like, oh, it's definitely happening tonight. Look at those fucking shoes.
So now, all right,
good guys don't wear those shoes.
Let's talk about a couple things here. Do we believe The Rock that this 1, 2, 3 thing at Bad Blood was foretelling this moment?
I don't believe anything The Rock says. If you want my honest opinion. I love The Rock. Will always and forever love The Rock. I don't take any credence with anything he says, because I have no reason to think he would lie, but that man tells so many fucking stories. I have no idea half the time what he's even talking about. So
I will say, I used to be like rah, kayfabe, rah, but I do enjoy his press conferences. I think,
yeah, they're entertaining. They're entertaining.
The way that he particularly the one from Saturday night where he like goes into the final boss creation and that stuff. I really like that answer that he gave a lot. But yeah, so now there of course is the lore here. He did this, and so the funny thing is, because the camera, there didn't need to be like the amount of crazy camera cuts in that exact moment that there were. It was almost, like old regime-esque in the amount of camera cuts. But the other thing that The Rock did both times that I haven't seen anybody talk about is you remember he does on Saturday he does the throat slit with the 2, but then they cut back to Cena's face. But when they cut back to Cena's face, he goes like this. So he like holds out his hand.
Yeah.
So you see his hand in that position when they shoot back to when he's pulling away from Cody. He also did that at Bad Blood. He did the 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
and then did this, and then did that. So he did it 2 times now as well. But this time he did it with a 2 instead of a 3. So the next obvious step here, if he did a 3 and then he did a 2, does he do a 1?
I don't think it's Roman. I don't think.
Well, no, not that he would be, not that means that Roman would join him, but that in the moment, whoever joins him does that to Roman, and then Roman is the last person that he really focuses on.
Yeah, and I think
obviously this isn't going to happen right now.
No. I think they'll. Yeah, I think more people will join this. Personally, I think more people will join this over time. I could see Jacob Fatu.
I did think about that.
I could see Jacob Fatu joining this. Ethan Page, which was mentioned in the Ethan Page, him and The Rock did something on NXT together.
Well, yeah, that's NXT. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it does though. When they were on NXT, they specifically had a backstage segment together where The Rock put over Ethan Page, said he had been keeping an eye on Ethan Page and things of that nature. Ethan Page, all of a sudden after that, turned into this sinister character that was breaking people's jaws and knocking their teeth out. And he's turned into like this evil, sinister bad guy. He's not doing the smiling gimmick anymore. NXT does matter, Sandy. Drew's always going to say it doesn't, but it does. So I think that could come into play as well. You want a good way to get somebody like Ethan Page up on the main roster, have him join The Rock and his crew here. That would work. But I think I could see Seth as well. I think Seth is a wild card in this as well. We had been talking about, Fernando brings up a good point. We have been talking about this KO, Seth, and Drew thing on the outskirts the last couple months because they've all had really the same opinions about Roman and the bloodline, which has caused a lot of problems with their friends, KO and Sammy, Seth and Cody, Drew and everybody.
Every single person.
Yes. And it's really been because of Roman. And obviously Cody is the enemy now. But I feel like the long game, the main person in The Rock's sights is Roman. So if you have the guys that have problems with Roman,
the one and that is happening when Roman and him are finally having.
And I think in the long game, that's the guy that The Rock really wants to take out is Roman. So if you align the guys who on camera have been telling all of us and all their friends for a year, nobody should be helping that guy. He's still a piece of shit. I don't know why you're all going to help him. And they've like ruined friendships and ruined brotherhoods and things like that because of the problems with, yes, Sandy, I would agree. I think next year it's Rock and Roman, it's Rhea and Bianca. I can already see them building the card to Mania 42 before we even have Mania 41. And I think that's a good thing. And Fernando, I think John Cena is winning the championship at WrestleMania.
100%.
Right now,
if he loses after that,
this means nothing. I think once you make a move like that on Saturday, and look I'm as big a Cody guy as you'll find. I'm pro Cody as there is. Once you make a move like that on Saturday, John Cena look, it's wrestling. Anything can happen. But I feel almost as confident as I could be to say that John Cena should 100% win that world title. And the closing image of WrestleMania should be The Rock. If Travis Scott's going to be there again, okay. The Rock, Travis Scott, and John Cena in the ring, standing over Cody, with Cena actually holding up the title as champion, breaking the record. That's the closing visual of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then however they want to do it after that, that's going to be a bunch of discussion. Does heel Cena hold it in this evil reign of terror the whole year, building to the babyface Cody getting his revenge in the last match, or somebody new and young going over in the last? I don't know. We can get to that when we get to that. But if we're talking now to Mania, Cena's winning that title, man. Cena's winning that title. I feel you. I'm not against that. I think by the end of the year, that'd be a good one, Spencer, if they actually hold bad guy Cena up with the title at the end of Mania. Like, they're happy, but as everyone else is like, my God.
Oh.
I wouldn't be shocked if by the end of this calendar year, however they do it, that John Cena is once again a good guy, to kind of give him like his flowers, his last time out.
Honestly, I would just
I don't know.
Take some WrestleMania to SummerSlam and be a heel, and then drop the title at SummerSlam to somebody, and then go away for like a month, and then his last, like, October to December is the redemption arc of like, oh, you know what? I did something stupid. And
Spencer saying, I don't think Cena's retiring anymore. Yeah.
So, that was another thing where, like, if he, I mean, who knows at this point now?
I believe him. I think I believe him that this is it. This is the year. That's why I think he did
until next WrestleMania and then lose the title at next WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Somebody. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know that we're in for a wild ride with this. So I just can't wait till we actually hear from Cena. I just want to hear from him.
I gotta see what this new look is gonna be. He's not coming out to the same music.
No,
he's
he
not
should
coming
come
out to the jorts and
no. I mean, he should come out kind of like a Hollywood guy.
He should look like, and he's got I know that he's filming something right now, but I hope that whatever he is filming, there's a scene in that show or movie, whatever it is that he's filming, where his hair gets cut, because he should not have that hairstyle anymore. That's the hairstyle that we've come to see of him for like 6-7 years now.
Yeah, but he's an actor now, though. You got to keep that up, like,
I know that. Yeah,
you gotta. Right. They have contracts based on sometimes how they look and certain appearances and like. So I think it's more of a. I do agree with you. I
think honestly, I think he should do complete crew cut, old school, the way that he used to do. Because I mean, okay, listen. He's getting older. I'm not saying this in a disparaging way at all. It's pretty prominent.
Oh, yeah.
And very visible.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
It looks terrible. Listen. It looks terrible. And if we could now, beard Cena, that's interesting, Sandy. I've never seen him with a beard before, as far as I can remember, at least. I don't know if he can even grow one.
Well, why does that automatically make you heel?
Not that I'm just saying it's like a different. Not that that makes him a heel.
Beards, bad guys.
Like he can show himself as more groomed, Hollywood-esque. Trim down the hair, get like a a nice little beard. Doesn't have to be. I
think. Look, we are going to get new attire. We are going to get. I assume
new music. Probably Travis Scott produced. I would imagine.
Wouldn't shock me. I do think we're going to get a little change of how we see John Cena, but we're not going to be seeing John Cena until they get to Europe in a few weeks, though, because it seems like he's filming that movie. So we're going to have to wait. But we did hear that. No, Sandy. No.
Oh, God.
That's where I draw the line.
No, that would be embarrassing.
We did hear that Cody Rhodes will be on SmackDown on Friday. So we're at least going to hear Cody's side of things.
And we're gonna see what he looks like because
Yeah.
right
So Fernando,
immediately as he was getting carried out of the ring, you could already see his face was blowing up.
Yeah. And Scott
So
said that there's a report that he might have a busted eardrum, and it's from Travis Scott. So again, no truth to that, but when you see
I
that
think that,
video,
yeah, that's
Travis
what
Scott
Dave Meltzer,
wailed
I
him.
think, said that. He said he
Yeah.
had a busted eardrum.
Travis Scott hit him for real.
That slap was crazy.
Yeah, sure was. March 17th is when he returns. So what's that? That's 2 weeks. Not next week, but the week after. So we have another whole week without John Cena. So we won't be hearing from him. March 17th, I think, is the first one there in Europe. The first one there in Europe.
Oh, it's in Europe. Okay.
Fernando, I put a tweet out about that yesterday. I maybe even on Sunday, because I didn't know that John Cena was not going to be at Raw. I said that what I needed on Raw was I needed John Cena to absolutely murder R-Truth. I felt like that's what we needed. The heel turn was cemented on Saturday night, but I thought if you really wanted to cement it, us watching R-Truth get the piss beat out of him by his childhood hero, John Cena, would be a good way to really lean in. And I tweeted about it, and then I had all the nerds come out of the bushes and say, "Why he's in Africa filming a movie?" And I was like, "Okay, I don't pay attention to every living thing that the guy does, so that still should happen. It just should have happened last night." But anyway, I digress. But yes, John Cena should murder R-Truth whenever they are in the same arena together. 100%. 100%. That's not what I want for R-Truth. We love R-Truth around here, but it should happen. Oh my God, what a time!
Oh, wow, yeah, so they're actually in Europe for a few weeks.
Yeah, they're in Europe for like 3 weeks, I believe. 2.5, 3 weeks. They're doing a bunch of stuff
for actual like TV
Raws
shows.
and SmackDown. Oh yeah, which I love. They're going to hot crowds in
Barcelona,
Europe.
Spain.
Yeah.
For SmackDown on the 14th.
At some point.
Brussels, Belgium. That's the 17th, March 17th show, the Raw, and then Italy, Bologna, Italy.
Hell yeah.
SmackDown. Wow.
Yeah. And it's live, and they've already announced
the
it.
Following Raw, Glasgow, Scotland, and then London for SmackDown.
And then I think they come home.
No.
I think. No, they're still there for after that.
They go to London again for Raw, and then Chicago for Friday Night SmackDown on April 4th.
There you go. And Raw is going to be live as well. That's what they announced. They said that Raw is going to be live. So whenever it's 8:00 their time, they're going live. So Raw will be at 3:00 in the afternoon for us.
Oh wow! Well,
that whole stretch.
So
at least that's what they said when they made that graphic months ago, hyping this up. That's what they said. I don't know if they'll change, but that's what they said. So I'm thinking, yeah, Sandy and everybody that hops in from Europe, you'll get Raw at your time. That's cool. Well, we'll have to make our arrangements to make sure we watch it. That's gonna be very cool. All right, so I mean, look at
work. So
I know we lumped in Elimination Chamber. I mean, some Raw stuff on Elimination Chamber, but that was Elimination Chamber, that whole thing, and obviously we're gonna have time to talk about this at length about where this story is going once we start seeing The Rock, Cody, and Cena more on the TV shows over the next 5 or 6 weeks heading into Mania. But I mean, just an all-time moment with John Cena finally turning heel. We had talked about the Seth Rollins CM Punk thing, and last night to start Raw, my God, what a start to Raw.
Oh my God.
Drew, this is the CM Punk I've been waiting for. Not this, hey, I'm happy to be here on a Monday.
Hey,
wherever the fuck
we are. It's great to be alive.
Oh,
blah, 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 blah,
blah, blah. Nope. This guy that we saw last night, that's my CM Punk. That's my CM Punk. He gets out there. He's pissed. One of Sandy
fraud.
Yep. I would say it is one of, if not the best promo he's cut since coming back. He just goes, give me a mic. He stands right up on the announce table and he doesn't even wait. He's just like, you know what? I'm pissed off. Consider this a State of the Union address for WrestleMania. I want to address my enemies. And he goes, just say a name. And he's like talking to the crowd. He's like, just say someone say something. And McAfee is like, final boss. And Punk goes, what? And he goes, final boss. He goes, okay. And he goes, give me the camera. And he like walks across the table. Come in. And he gets close in the camera, calls The Rock a bald fraud. Says that just because he's on the board, he's not immune from criticism. And he goes, and right now you're dealing with the best in the world. He says, I'm middle-aged and crazy, which I kind of liked. He goes, I walked back into WWE after 10 years and marched through hell to earn opportunities. But Mr. Midlife Crisis walks right in when he feels like it because he feels like he's a bigger star than everybody else. He is a bigger star than everybody else. He's The Rock. I just want to get that out of the way. He is a gigantically bigger star than everybody else.
That is unfortunately true, Punk.
That is factually correct.
Yeah. It's like, but yeah, you know, then he comes in.
Yeah.
Does this bullshit.
He's doing this. He's doing this. And he's doing, he goes, we're doing that. Too busy pretending. You know, he says The Rock is too busy pretending to care about this business and pretending to understand the business. He goes, he's never been desperate enough to hold CM Punk says, I've never been desperate enough to hold a fake title.
Oh. Excuse me. That's all I have.
And he goes, I know, right? In AEW, I think he did. And declare himself the people's champion.
Very famously so.
He goes, because I earn it. He goes, I've never been so desperate to sell my soul. And he goes, and that brings me to you, John Cena. He goes, you can't see me. He goes, well, now we can see all through you. And he goes, and you stole something from me. And he goes, and after all these years, hustle, loyalty, respect, I gave you the benefit of the doubt. He goes, but you don't fool me twice. He goes, hustle, loyalty, respect for 20 years. He goes, but now everybody sees that was all just bullshit. And he was like, he said bullshit twice. He was feeling it. He was feeling it. He also did call John Cena a bald fraud as well.
Oh, yeah. He said both you bald frauds.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. He says, I didn't quit at Elimination Chamber. He goes, but John Cena did. He quit on the kids. Because obviously CM Punk cares about the fucking kids. And he goes, he's going to get hands on both of these bald frauds. And when he does, they're going to wish he hadn't. Ha ha ha. And then he goes, and now to the man that has my undivided attention. And he goes, Becky Lynch, you better come get your man.
Oh yeah, that got
because if I do first, I'm going to put him in a wheelchair. Good stuff. And Seth's music hits right away. They don't mess around. Punk goes after him. They brawl all the way through the arena. One of those, kind of vintage WWE pull apart brawls where they're brawling with each other. Security comes out. They get separated. One of them breaks through and goes to the other. Then the next time the other one breaks through and goes to the other, and they're just brawling everywhere. This one was very good, though. This one was a really, really good one. It was hot. The crowd was hot. During, I did not see Becky's tweet. I did not. I'll have to look at that after the show.
So, yeah, it's gone. She deleted it.
Oh, she deleted it. I'm sure you can still find a picture of it somewhere.
Well, I know what it is. I can tell you right now. She tweeted it. I don't remember what it was, basically alluding to.
You lied to me. You just said you could tell me what it was right now.
No, I know. I know what I don't know what the exact wording of it was, but it was that she tweeted a picture of him and Roxanne Perez. And hold on, I'm getting it right now.
Of CM Punk and Roxanne Perez.
Okay, she said, yeah. Her tweet was, catching up on Raw, I don't think I'm the one who needs to come get my man. And she had this picture.
Oh, wow.
Of the two of them.
Okay. Is that
because
a thing?
The person said matching gears, I'm screaming.
Yeah. Is that a thing?
Even though it's not actually matching gears.
No, it's not.
And it was deleted, and people are thinking that maybe she deleted it because it looked like she was speculating that they had a sexual relationship.
Something. Yes. That's what automatically.
Which apparently, as I found out this morning, people call her His daughter, which I don't understand at all. That's very
I
strange.
thought, really?
But yeah, people are weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. All right. Either way. All right. So she deleted it. So she was probably asked to delete that shit. That might not have
I'm
gone over
thinking,
well.
yeah.
That might not have gone over well. But either way, they end up having a brawl. They're leaping over the desk, and even during commercial. Well, commercials for us Americans. Everybody else doesn't get commercials, but commercials for us Americans. They were brawling throughout the whole commercial. So we came back from the first commercial, and they showed that they actually ended up brawling some more in the crowd. And then later on in the evening, they were trying to get a word with Seth Rollins, and he sees CM Punk, and they end up brawling in the back some more. And then even later on, Seth Rollins is leaving the arena, and Adam Pearce is trying to not lose his mind again. And he's like, "What are you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. And Seth goes, "Listen, man." He goes, "It's very simple. It's very simple. This is a very simple solution. But if you don't give me what I want, I'm gonna keep doing this." And Pearce was like, "All right, next week, Monday Night Raw, Madison Square Garden, you're gonna get it out, both of you, because it's you and CM Punk inside a steel cage." And Rollins is like, "Oh, I hear you crystal clear, man." And Rollins is excited, and he leaves. So we're getting that. That'll be the main event. They're really making that show next week in Madison Square Garden a big one. They're making that one a big one.
Yeah.
Which is good.
And
Which is good.
We all know what's happening next week.
I would assume Roman will return.
Roman will return. Roman will cause a DQ. He will beat them both down.
Is there a DQ
brawl
in cage matches, though? I don't think
what?
there's DQs. There's no DQs in cage matches.
Oh, no, there's no. Definitely there was not that one Hell in a Cell one time in 2019.
Right, I'm actually asking that. I know they've really cheapened the cage match with the ref in there, but they don't do DQs in cage matches, right?
Well, Roman will probably attack Seth. Punk will get mad and attack Roman. Roman will brawl with Punk. Seth will brawl. They're going to all brawl. There's going to be no finish to that match.
I disagree. I think that Roman is going to take Seth out and Punk will win. Because I think Punk. I think they're going to book this match as Roman versus Seth first, and then Punk.
You don't think that
Punk is going to use his
Roman
favor.
is mad at Punk too.
Yeah, but Roman's more mad at. We haven't seen Roman since Seth gave him a double heel stomp at the Rumble, so I feel like that is going to be the thing that they all. Yes, the triple threat is happening. I just happen to think that Roman is going to come back and cost Seth, and Punk is going to get into the match by using his favor. I think this match is going to be booked Roman versus Seth first. And then I think Punk is going to say, "I got a problem with both these guys. I want to mess up both of these guys. You got a favor for me, Paul. Get me in that match." And I think that's at least, again, they could do it either way. I think Punk's going to win the match next week. Because I think Seth is going to, like you said a little earlier, he's going to go into a little going crazy character a little bit here. And I think him losing the match makes sense for that. Because I think when you get to WrestleMania, Punk's the good guy, Roman is Roman, and I think Seth is going to be more leaning the bad guy, I think. So I think Roman coming back, costing Seth the match because he double stomped him, and that's kind of the last thing that happened to Roman that we saw. I think Roman costs Seth, and Punk gets the victory out of it, which also furthers Seth's insanity. And then I think they kind of book it that it's Roman versus Seth at WrestleMania, and then that's where Punk goes, "Okay, well, I have a problem with both these guys. I have a favor. Get me in that match. I want to be in that match because I have a settled score with both of them." And he can also layer in, "Hey, I know I won the cage match, but Roman doesn't need to be getting involved in my business either. Roman needs to stay out of my business." I think you can all layer it in together. And I think that because they did the favor thing for a reason. He's going to have to use it. So I feel like that's a way for him to use it, as opposed to just kind of making it a triple threat match from the jump. Him using the favor to get into the triple threat match, I think makes sense. I think that's a way to do it, to get that kind of out of the way.
Okay.
Because I don't think they're going to keep that for just to keep it, right? No? Does that make sense?
No, I don't feel like there's a way where Punk allows him. Well, I mean, yeah, he could do like what John Cena did, basically, of like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of
Or
Roman attacking Seth.
what if Roman spears Seth and Seth falls out of the cage? And Seth wins. What if they do a spot like that?
Oh, I like that.
What if they do a spot like that?
I like that. That might actually happen.
So what if it's something like, or you could do the thing where he goes to spear Seth and Seth moves out of the way and he spears Punk. And Seth wins. And then you can, there's multiple ways they can do. I do think Roman is coming back in that cage match, but there are other ways to do it. I just think because the last thing we saw was the double stomp and we haven't seen Roman since, and Rollins went after Heyman too. I think that matters too. I think they're going to focus on Roman and Seth first. Like I think Roman's eyesight is going to be on Seth, not on Punk. And I think there's either going to be a mishap and he accidentally costs Punk the match, whether it's Seth going through the cage and falling out or him hitting Punk by accident. I think Roman is going to have his sights set on Seth. And then somehow Punk gets involved.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah,
that
would be the best way of getting Punk involved.
Yeah,
because now he has a score to settle.
Correct. And and again, the whole favor thing to me is going to come into play here. He needs to use the favor. This would be the time to use the favor. So how do they get it? How do they get him to use the favor? You know? And I feel like him not being booked in the match at first because Seth and Roman are crazy at like about killing each other. And they make, all right, WrestleMania, Roman and Seth. And Punk is like, hey, wait a minute. These guys have both been effing with me too, you know?
I thought maybe that the favor would play into next year WrestleMania. Because
I mean, if they wanted to keep it that long, they could.
Because, next year's Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia, and Punk currently at this time does not want to go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe money will change that at some point. But so they're like, oh, maybe the favor plays out to next year's WrestleMania where he maybe gets inserted into the Elimination Chamber to get to WrestleMania's main event or something. But it could easily be this.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say, I think Punk would be a favorite for the Chamber in that scenario. Again, we got a ways to go and we have a lot of things to talk about, like as far as like Mania goes this year, but very early on, I find it hard to believe that anybody but Sami Zayn will be winning that Royal Rumble next year in Saudi Arabia. That would be my early bet there, but we got a ways to go. But all right, so we talked about all the big stuff that went down at Elimination Chamber. We talked about the main event with Rhea and Io. We talked about this opening segment. So let's kind of not skim through, but go through the rest of Raw, because I thought Raw was a good show throughout last night.
Yeah.
There was some more teasing of the Judgment Day with Finn and Dom not seeing eye to eye.
Like
Dom
I say,
still wants a new member.
Like I say every week.
Yeah.
The key objective of Finn Balor is to insert and create more tension in the scenario. That's his only purpose of being there now.
I agree. So, even Finn just being a dick, like they're like, oh yeah, nice job with your tag team victory last week. That's awesome. Even though you lost the Elimination Chamber. Like, he's just such an asshole. It's tremendous. Drew, we were here last week and we were praising the Gunther versus Tozawa match. And I said, brother, if this leads to Gunther versus Otis, baby. And guess what?
We
got Gunther and Otis last night, and this match kicked ass, Drew.
Yeah, it did.
This was fun. I love Otis.
That was the Otis
is
of
so
old.
legit. Otis is so legit, man. He is so legit. And this match was a lot of fun. Him and Gunther had a real fun match. Obviously, Gunther wins, as you would expect. But Otis, he hung with him, man. He hung with Gunther that whole time. And the crowd and me, I was so behind Otis. And I love Gunther. I was just like, oh, come on, man. Come on, Otis. It ruled. But he was able to power bomb Otis. Gunther was, which is impressive. Otis is not only is a big boy, he's a thick boy. Like, that's all mass right there, man. That's not a hollow fat on Otis. He's built. And that was a very impressive power bomb. And Gunther gets the win. Very fun match. And then afterwards, he starts to attack him. Tozawa gets in the ring. But Gunther fights him off. And then we hear main event Jey Uso. He comes down to the ring. Gunther kind of runs away. And while Gunther runs away, A-Town Down Under comes out. And they start to beat down Jey Uso. But Jey starts to fight back and get the upper hand. And while his back is turned, Gunther reappears. He hits the Gojira clutch on Jey Uso, and he puts Jey Uso to sleep in the middle of the ring. And he puts his foot on Jey Uso and holds the title up. And that is how this segment ends. I thought it was a very, very good segment. I thought it was a fun match with Otis, turned into Gunther standing strong. The promo that Gunther also cut beforehand, making fun of Otis's weight, and he kind of put Otis over at first. And then he was kind of like, look at, like, you know, Gunther used to be a thick boy. And he obviously has gotten himself in tremendous shape. And he was kind of leaning into that a little bit. He said, you know, I looked in the mirror and I saw myself holding this WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt. And when you look in the mirror, you're looking for a belt that fits. Tremendous. As a fat person, I laughed. But anyway. Yeah, look, if I'm allowed to laugh at it, we're all allowed to laugh.
Oh, yeah, I make fat jokes all the damn time.
If I'm allowed to laugh at it, we're all allowed to laugh at it. All right? But anyway, I love this whole thing. From start to finish, I love this whole thing. I love it.
Yeah, very, very good. And led to a fire as fuck Jey Uso promo.
Yeah, which is what I needed to see. Because again, Jey Uso has a lot of fire in a lot of his promos, but I felt like Jey Uso had been telling me the same shit every week.
It was getting a little
since the Rumble, and I was like, hey man, I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more out of you. Like, I get it. Like, yes, you are the underdog. Nobody thinks you can win. Yes, I get that. You can't tell me that 8 different ways for the next 8 weeks, man. Like, I need something more. I need something more. And I thought that the promo that we got from him later on in the show, because of this, was kind of a lean in the direction that I need. And yes, Sandy, he also left to go out to the negative degree Buffalo streets with no shirt on.
Yeah.
You don't care about frostbite.
Not that I'm complaining.
You don't care about frostbite. You don't care.
You know, it's just him, oof, and no frostbite.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no. So Jey Uso, he walks in the back later on. He walks up to Alpha Academy, and Alpha Academy, and Otis particularly, thanks him for having his back. And he says, we always got your back if you need it. Like, thanks for helping us out. We appreciate you. Exactly. And then Jey Uso.
Listen, I am Scott. I am not questioning Jay's shirt wearing. He can either wear one or not.
For a health concern, not the smartest thing. Not the smartest thing.
Outside, probably not a good idea. I will agree with that.
He says that what went down with Gunther bothers him a little bit because he says it's got him doubting himself. He goes, but my back is up against the wall and nobody can pick me up but him. And he goes, you want to make you said you want to make 7 weeks of hell for me heading into WrestleMania, Gunther? Fine, because guess what? At WrestleMania, you just woke up a beast. You just woke up a beast, and I'm going to be a beast. So there's a little bit more fire from Jey, which is good. which is good. And then we already know that he's fighting Grayson Waller next week, so he's gonna have a couple matches against the A-Town Down guys on the way to Mania to get a couple wins in and kind of do that thing as we've seen Gunther fight the Alpha Academy. So they're kind of doing other things with both these guys, like from a wrestling perspective, giving them little mini stories here. Gunther dealing with the Alpha Academy, Jay dealing with A-Town Down Under, but it's all kind of wrapped around them dealing with each other. So I think from that side of it, they're doing good. I just need to hear a little bit more from Jay besides the fact that nobody thinks you can win. Like, that's going to get real. It's already old to me. Yeah. Well, that's the shtick, though. I'm cool with that.
That's the shtick, but it can't just be the shtick.
I agree, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay. That's what got him over, dude. That's what got him over. We had we had 3 championship matches last night, Drew. We already talked about the main event, which was for the women's world title. We also had the American Made getting their chances at a bunch of gold. We had Ivy Nile up first. She went against Lyra Valkyria.
What a hell of a match this was.
Great match. This was a great match. Not a long one. It was
Lyra
like 10 minutes or so. She's excellent.
Ferocious in this match.
And like, here's my thing, right? Lyra Valkyria, as a character, is not getting super over. Like, that's not necessarily true. Like, when she comes out, there's not a huge response, right? Like, when her entrance, like, not everybody, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But how you get somebody like this over is exactly what they're doing here. She needs to be fighting in matches like this, defending her IC title often, and winning these type of matches. Because if she keeps winning these type of matches and showing off how good she is in the ring, her ferociousness, for a girl her size, she has a ton of power. She has a ton of power. Her moves are a very powerful move set. She's not this super duper big, strong, like she has a small frame, but she has a ton of power. She's very good in the ring. And I think when people are starting to warm up to a character, a way to help them warm up to the character is you have them win matches like this. And I thought this was a very good match. Ivy Nile was very good in this as well. I thought Ivy Nile was going to win it. I thought American Made was going to win everything. I thought American Made was going to win everything last night.
I had a feeling. So I went into that going, okay, I feel like one of them is going to win and one of them will lose. I didn't think both were going to win, but I did not think both were going to lose.
Yeah, because we had another good match, because this tag match with the War Raiders and American Made, the Creed brothers, was also very good. All right, Sandy, we'll see you later, my friend. Have a good rest of your night. This was also a very, very good match. And of the two, I thought they both were going to win, but I was leaning that the Creeds were going to win more than Ivy. But like you just said, they both did not win. Very good match here. Very good tag match. Towards the end of it, I thought the Creeds were going to win. It was looking like they were. Julius Creed hit a beautiful shooting star press in this match. Just a fantastic shooting star press. But Ivar kicked out.
There were a couple of scary moments in this match. Like, Ivar was up on the top rope and then he flipped around and it's like, this guy's had surgery very recently.
Yeah.
I do not want something bad happening to him.
Yeah.
But thankfully he was okay. And then Julius was sitting outside the ring on the apron on the LED board, and then Ivar just fucking charged at him and gave him a crossbody right on that thing. I was like, oh, my body hurts just looking at that.
It's wonderful. It was a good tag match, man. It was a good tag match. But the War Raiders do win with War Machine, and they retain the world title. So American Made strikes out. But that wasn't the only things we saw from American Made, because we saw a vignette with Mr. Chad Gable, who we haven't seen for a little bit. Yes. Chad Gable, we assume he's in Mexico. We assume. Did they say he was in Mexico? And I just missed it.
I didn't remember hearing if they said the specific place or not.
Okay.
For the dark arts in Lucha Libre.
Yes. So he is going to find that. Yes, he's going to find out the dark arts, and he's walking through what looked like a little small town in Mexico. And then he sees a man who has a long gray beard, We don't really see his full face, but he looks like an older fella with a long, straggly gray beard, and he's wearing like, I don't even know what you would properly call, but he's wearing, he's wearing what you would, I don't know. And he's telling him that he can't fight what he doesn't understand. And he gives him a box. And Chad opens the box. And he goes in to pull out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He goes in to pull out what's in the box. And we don't really see it. Are we assuming it's a lucha mask?
Yeah, I think so.
Right? That's what we would assume. Because the gentleman says, you can't fight what you don't understand. You must become lucha. And Gable says he'll do anything, and then the man gives him the box, first demanding payment. And then they had a funny bit where Chad gave him $100 bill, and the guy's like, and then he just keeps on. It's like 5 or 6. They had to give him like almost $1,000 because the guy's like, come on. But he gives him the box, and then the guy says that he now wields power beyond his understanding. So we'll have to see where that leads to. But we did see Chad Gable for the first time, so that was kind of fun. I'm thinking it'll be a mask, Bonkers. That would be my guess. Is it's a lucha mask of sorts. Then later on in the evening, Finn Balor was in the ring cutting a promo on Braun Breaker, saying that he's only still Intercontinental Champion because the Judgment Day have allowed it. And Braun Breaker is kind of in the Okerlund position, kind of in the crowd. He says that he has the title because he's a dog and he runs Judgment Day down just like he did last week. Then Finn basically says, well, I'm right here. So like, you know where to find me anytime you like. Braun heads to the ring and they start brawling. Braun hits a very impressive military press power slam on Finn Balor, and he's going off the ropes to hit a spear, it looks like, but Dominic Mysterio shows up. He pulled, as Braun got into the ring, Carlito was also out there, and he got rid of Carlito real quick. Dom ends up coming out, saving Carlito. Finn. I know, saving Finn from the spear, and it looks like they're going to get away scot-free, but out of the corner of his eye, Braun sees Carlito kind of getting back to his feet, and poor Carlito, like you just said, he gets a spear, a big running spear from Braun Breaker, and that's how that segment ends. So, yeah. And then we have everything that they built for next week, Drew. We already talked about the steel cage match with Punk and Rollins. That should be excellent. We have a tornado tag match with the New Day versus Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. I love a tornado tag match. Love a tornado tag match. One of my favorites and what I believe one of the most underutilized match types in all of wrestling is a tornado tag. Rules. We have that. AJ Styles we saw earlier in the night, and he was talking about John Cena. I thought this was hilarious, and Karrion Kross just comes out of nowhere and like puts his arms around him. Like, hey! Like they're buddy, and AJ's like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? I thought that was very fun. It made me laugh. It made me laugh like louder than I thought. He
grabbed his hand off of his shoulder.
And like Cross had this big smile, like, hey, like it was just, I don't know. It popped me. I'm really digging, and we've said it for a few weeks now. I'm really digging Karrion Kross. They've turned him around on me. I'm really digging Kross. And can we, first of all, can we talk about the hair on these two gentlemen? Holy shit! That should have been a friggin' shampoo commercial back then. There should have been an ad for shampoo. Both these guys.
AJ Styles now not the only man with long dry hair.
I was gonna say both these guys, the head of hairs on these, man, they could have sold me a product there. They could have sold me a product if they wanted to. But yeah, so he comes in, and AJ Styles basically tells Kross, he says, hey, cut the shit, man. Cut your song and dance. I know what you're about, whatever. And he goes, I'm not John Cena. He goes, but maybe the WWE universe needs a reminder of who AJ Styles is. So he says next week at Raw, he's going to call out Logan Paul for a match next week. And then he looks at Kross and he goes, this is a TNA reference. So for my TNA fans, he looks at Kross after he tells him he's going to call out Logan Paul to next week, right? He looks at Kross and he goes, if you're going to be the devil on my shoulder, Well, God knows my evil ways. And Evil Ways was the name of AJ Styles' heel entrance music when he was a heel in TNA.
Oh, okay.
So that was a nice little Easter egg, as they call it, for the people that might have watched TNA back in the day. So that happened. And yeah. Did we hit everything? I think so. I think that was everything that happened on Raw, dude. I think that was everything. Obviously, Elimination Chamber, and there was a segment that we should talk about. Ludwig Kaiser cut a good promo.
Yeah, right.
Ludwig Kaiser cut a good promo, and he called out Penta. And Penta came out and run down, and they got in a little bit of a brawl. And it led to Penta kind of standing tall over Ludwig Kaiser. So they're continuing that, which is good. Dude, Penta is just, well, and I wanted to actually, this is a good way to end the show, because I wanted to turn that into, we got news yesterday, Drew, that Rey Fenix is officially no longer a member of All Elite Wrestling. Now, when the rumors came out a long time ago that the Lucha Brothers were going to WWE, everyone was under the assumption, because of the way it sounded, that they were coming as a tag team. And that's what it was going to be. We've exhausted and talked at length about the Rey Fenix situation. We don't need to go into that again. But now, I would assume the plan still is to get Rey Fenix there as soon as possible. However, I'm kind of intrigued about how they do this now, Drew, because Penta is so over as a solo guy that do they automatically...
I feel like you could I know where you're going with that. I feel like they could probably set them up as a tag team and it would be fine, because
it'll be more than fine. But I feel like Penta's on a trajectory to like maybe win a mid-card title at WrestleMania. Like that's kind of the trajectory he's on. Like I think he's going to be.
He's not.
I think he's going to be
anybody with a mid-card title.
Yeah, he is. I think he's going to be in the multi-man match for the IC title. Braun Breaker's feud.
Braun Breaker.
They've crossed paths with the IC title. We talked to him about it at the Royal Rumble. He answered a whole question for us on it. They 100% had a backstage thing.
Even addressed that, or
neither have Rhea and Bianca, but we want that match because of things that happened a long time ago that haven't been on TV screens. I'm just saying.
Oh, but this is.
I'm just saying.
Now there's your hypocrisy.
There's your
hypocrisy right there.
No.
For Braun and for Braun and no, you're not getting away from this. You're not getting away from this.
That was a good joke.
You're not getting away from this.
Joke by me. That was a good joke.
Braun and for Penta, that happened one time a couple of weeks ago that nobody remembers. Now it's fine for them to have a match together at WrestleMania.
No, because it's going to be multi-man.
Oh,
because
okay.
if you look at what I'm not upset that we're getting Bianca and Rhea as part of a triple threat. That match is going to hump with those three with EO. I just think if you're building to the one-on-one, you got no. But listen, look at what Braun Breaker's been doing though. Braun Breaker, now he's kind of messing with Judgment Day and Finn, right?
Understand what's going on.
A couple weeks ago, he was messing with AJ Styles, right? They had a thing where Braun almost attacked AJ Styles. He had the backstage thing with Penta where they looked at the IC title and they kind of did that backstage thing. I think what they've been doing with Braun Breaker is they've been setting up multiple opponents for Braun Breaker, because if they do want to go the route of a 4-way or 6-man ladder match or something like that, I think they're setting it up with Braun Breaker kind of dipping his toes with a bunch of different people. And I think that if you were going to end up doing a multi-man match, I think Penta on the Raw side of things, you would think would be, and you're going to want to put Penta on WrestleMania.
Oh,
like obviously. I mean, you could, I guess you could maybe make it lean to maybe something happens next week in that tornado tag with Rey and Dragon Lee. And then maybe we see Penta and Rey Fenix. And maybe you do New Day versus the Lucha Brothers at WrestleMania? Would we be opposed to that at all?
Well, but Penta isn't involved with New Day.
I know.
So why would he then all of a sudden?
Well, he's been very vocal.
In very few 5 short weeks, how would there be a story there that makes sense for a WrestleMania match?
There probably isn't. Besides the New Day attacking Rey Mysterio and the Lucha Brothers kind of being like, he's a hero of our, like, Rey Mysterio is, he's literally, we're called the Lucha Bros, probably because of Rey Mysterio. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's, you know, I'm just trying to think of where Penta kind of aligns on the WrestleMania card right now.
Maybe like, he just so this was an idea that I had. So he's been primarily feuding, obviously, and most visually, weekly, with Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne.
And Pete Dunne, yes.
Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne can easily just be like, you know what? We're both heels.
Yeah.
Why are we going against each other? We can go after him together. And then
you could do
that together. You obviously know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking of like, how many matches is WrestleMania going to be? I know it's 2 nights, but they're not going to do like 10 or 12 matches a night. It's going to be 7 or 8 matches.
No,
like, it's not going to, you know?
They could, you know, go back to having a 6-match card, heaven forbid, once in a while. There's no way. There's no way that both nights of WrestleMania are only going to be 4 matches.
No, they're going to be 6. They're going to be like, I would assume 7. I would assume 7 a night.
They're going to go back to the old way of doing pay-per-views, of actually having matches on the show.
Well, I think we're going to get 7 or 8 matches a night would be my guess. Probably 7. 14 matches total.
I would say 6 even. Maybe 7. Maybe 7. But it's more than 4.
Well, yeah, we're definitely getting more than that.
I think a talking segment at some point.
I think 7, and I think we get 7 a night. I think we get 7 a night would be my guess. That would be my guess, because you figure each night, you're going to have both women's championship matches, both men's championship matches. That's 4. You're going to have whatever Punk. We're going to have Punk, Rollins, and Seth. You're going to have Drew and Priest. You're going to have whatever.
Also, remember that they use WrestleMania SmackDown.
I don't count that shit. That doesn't count.
They do it. I'm not saying I count it.
I don't count that. I don't count that.
That's where the Andre the Giant Battle Royal will be, as Cinder.
And look, and that's fine. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal can be there. That's fine. I think that's a perfect place to do it, because that should be pre-show, or that is not part of WrestleMania. That is not part of WrestleMania. I hope they just don't. But yeah, I know. I just like, I'm trying to think of like, because I don't think every title is going to be up for grabs at Mania. Because then you're talking. You're
the
talking
US title, for example.
I was gonna say you're talking 4 world titles with the 2 men and the 2 women. You're talking 2 IC titles. You're talking 2 US titles. You're talking 2 tag titles. Actually 3, because the men have 2. That's 11 matches on its own. And that's not including Punk, Rollins, Reigns, Drew and Priest. If they do whatever. So I'm just trying to like, dude, this isn't going to be 10 matches a night. Like, it's going to be 5. It's going to be 6, 7, 8 matches a night. There's only so much room. There's only so much room. So I'm like, where do these people, like, what's, again, not that I care, because I don't really care about this person, but like right now, what's Logan Paul doing at WrestleMania? I feel like he's somebody they're going to focus on. Like, what is his,
That's right.
Yeah, no, but he's going to be on, you know what I mean? So that's another match.
Andre the Giant, him.
No, I doubt it. But you know what I mean? So like, I'm trying to think of like where we end up as a total or a whole. But either way, the road to WrestleMania has started, Drew. And she bumpy. She bumpy. She is bumpy early. Most likely, Center. That's what I think too. But like, okay, then that's another match that is added to, like, again, how many matches are we having?
Well, we'll know more as weeks go by. So.
Yeah. But that's it, kids. John Cena heel turn, Jade Cargill killing Naomi, new women's world champion. Yep, I agree, Bonkers. That's happening. New women's world champion on the Raw side of things. A shocker, Io Sky going to WrestleMania. It was a very eventful weekend. It was a very eventful weekend. A seismic shift in the landscape of WWE and WWE television. And Drew and I will be guiding you along to the granddaddy of them all in about 5.5, 6 weeks, WrestleMania. Drew, let the people know where they can follow you, where they can find you, and what you got coming up the rest of the week, man.
You can find my soulless ass at the Drew Nicholas on both Twitter and Blue Sky, and follow Firmly LW. I put a poll up the other day asking if you truly thought that John Cena's heel turn was the right thing to do. 90% said yes, 10% said no. Very interesting polling there.
Oh, you thought it'd be closer?
Not that I thought it would be closer, but more that, you know, I thought it was going to be all yes.
So you actually thought it was going to be like not close. You thought it should be 100%.
Yeah. I was surprised that. I mean, I wish they commented, but I was surprised that maybe it looked like maybe 2 people said no. So, but you know, Twitter polls and all. We're going to be more interactive with doing stuff like that there. So follow Firmly LW. We'll have more polls. We'll have more interactive posts and commenting and replying with everybody. And Synergy actually just threw out something crazy that I wish you threw out about a half hour ago. But
I think we are getting that. I think we are getting that match. But I don't. I would say I think that might be SummerSlam. I could see that being a SummerSlam big attraction match.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. Actually, I believe AJ is from New Jersey, if I remember correctly. I think she's from New Jersey. I'm going to look this up right now because if
AJ is willing to do it,
she is from New Jersey.
If AJ is willing to do it, and look, I'm going to be at SummerSlam, bro. That's not far from me. I'm going to be trying to be there.
I will probably go in that case too.
I will try to be there. If AJ is willing to do it and wants to do it, that is an easy, huge mixed tag match to have.
Oh shit, that might actually
easy match. I think it could. I think it could. Punk mentioned Becky last night. I think there's definitely ways for it to go. I think it's definitely ways for it to go. Because again, I think the triple threat match at Mania between Punk, Seth, and Roman, like I don't think Roman is hanging around after that match with either of those guys. I think Roman goes off and does other things, and maybe Seth and Punk continue, but now with Seth as like a bad guy. Could happen. I don't want to book ourselves. I don't want to book ourselves into a shoot. I don't want to book ourselves into a shoot, but that could happen. I think that is a big match they could do at a SummerSlam or even an international show if they wanted to. It could be big. That could be a big match for them.
They like doing that hometown stuff. And
they do.
Her being from New Jersey and SummerSlam being in New Jersey this year.
Yep.
That could be something.
I agree. But all right. You can find me, JPJ Loves Gaming, everywhere. Obviously, Drew said Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can find us here, 10 a.m. for Firmly Love Wrestling. And then every Thursday night, the flagship show here at Love Wrestling, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Me and Pluggo between two beards. Be on the lookout either later today or tomorrow. We got a big guest joining us on Thursday. We're going to be talking Elimination Chamber Fallout. We're going to be talking Revolution, which is this Sunday night. Revolution, another big show. That's what we're going to be talking, y'all. So, follow me there. WWE 2K25 also coming out this Friday. Yeah. So if you like video games and stuff like that, give a follow over on Twitch on the JPJ Loves Gaming channel. We'll be playing a lot of WWE 2K25 over the next week or so with it coming out this weekend. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Appreciate everyone hanging in. Tonight, 7:45 on my channel as well. If you're watching NXT, we know Drew won't be. But if you're watching NXT, if you like the best wrestling show WWE has every week, we'll be watching it along to it on our channel, on my channel tonight. So hang around, come say hi for that as well. Last night we were live, me and Josh were live for the EO change. And that was quite a time. That was quite a time. But all right, we're going to get on out of here. Appreciate you all hanging in. Went a little bit overtime today, but there was just so much to discuss, man. There was just so much to discuss. And WrestleMania is looking like it's going to be a wild ride. So strap in, everybody. Drew and I will see you on Thursday for Firmly AEW. Everyone have a good rest of your Tuesday. You guys know the drill. Peace out.